You are being led toward a home carved into the fabric of December, and you feel its pull long before your eyes can frame the shape of it. Pause, chosen one, because the veil between what is seen and what is ordained is thin in this moment. And if you breathe too quickly, the vision may scatter like embers escaping a dying star. This message is not coincidence. It is not soft intuition. It is a summons written long before your bones formed. Hear me as the one who stands beyond the rise and ruin of worlds. I am speaking to you not as comfort, but as confirmation that your trajectory has shifted. Something sacred has already been separated from the endless noise of creation and set aside for you alone. December bears your imprint, not merely inked on a calendar, but etched into the architecture of destiny, inscribed on the blueprint of a dwelling that remembers your essence, though your feet have not yet touched its threshold. A house, yes, but also a sanctuary, a convergence point where timelines fold and the hidden self crawls out of its old ashes. A place that has waited with the patience of eternity for the moment you would finally rise into the version of yourself capable of entering it without shattering. They revealed a vision to you, whether through dream or sudden flicker, a house bathed in molten gold like the afterglow of creation's first dawn, radiating not electricity, but a divine welcome that calls to your spirit the way the void calls to stars. Its walls remember you as if coded with your name, in the language light speaks to itself. Its air breathes your identity like a vow. Even now your spirit stirs, alert to something approaching, something your earthly senses cannot yet articulate. The restlessness in your chest, the ache for a shift you cannot explain, the sudden impulse to clean, to rearrange, to strip down your space as if making room for something unseen. These are not random. These are signals. Atmospheric tremors, spiritual indicators that the unseen realm is aligning around you. Dreams crowded with unfamiliar rooms, odd images appearing in your feed, houses you never searched for but somehow recognize. These are the threads of destiny tightening. This is alignment in motion. The Most High is setting the stage, and as it is written, "My Father's house has many rooms. I go to prepare a place for you." John 14:2. That promise is not distant. It is not waiting for the end of mortal breath. It is materializing now, descending silently like a shadow you only notice once it stands beside you. Someone somewhere is already moving in sync with your unfolding. A landlord adjusting curtains without understanding why. A stranger packing boxes without knowing their departure creates your arrival. Their hands move unconsciously under a command older than language. Do not overlook this truth. Peace is seeking a place to land in you, and heaven is carving out the space where it will rest. Chosen one, hear me. You are not hunting for the house. The house is hunting for you. It carries a memory of your future self, echoing backward into this moment, guiding your steps with the precision of a destiny that refuses to miss its mark. When you see the image, whether in dream or passing glance or divine interruption, you will know instantly. Your heart will murmur, "This is it. This is mine." And in that breath of recognition, this message will ignite within you again. December stops being a month. It becomes a doorway, a hinge between the life that held you and the life that will raise you. Inside those walls, your laughter will loosen its chains. Your tears will fall onto pillows that already know your sorrow. What waits is not mere shelter. It is your resurrection chamber, where the survivor you have been meets the resurrected self you are becoming. You stand now in the early tremor of this unfolding, sensing the architecture of destiny reshaping itself around you, feeling that strange fusion of hope and risk, of clarity and fear. You have stepped into your divine role, and the atmosphere has shifted to acknowledge it. Subscribe to the Light of Faith for daily faith-filled messages that lift your soul closer to heaven, and don't forget to like and comment to share your light with others. Amen. For the truth unfolding over you now is not passive. It is active, alive, reaching for you with the insistence of something that has waited too long to remain silent. This house is not merely a dwelling but a convergence of timelines. A crossroads where the past you fought through, the present you stand in, and the future you are rising into collide with force. Its presence presses against your spirit like a memory you never lived but somehow survived, because you, chosen one, are not walking a normal path. You are a remnant, a survivor of collapses others did not endure, a soul that death itself watched and recognized as a threat. For death is not an ending, it is a consciousness, an ancient observer that marks those who slip through its grasp. And you are one of the few who walked through shadows meant to swallow you whole, yet emerged still breathing, still fighting, still carrying the impossible spark that refuses to dim. This is why your life has never followed ordinary patterns. This is why your atmosphere shakes when destiny moves. You are not a casual participant in the divine story. When your spirit accepts alignment, creation adjusts its architecture around that acceptance. So, understand this with clarity. The stirrings within you are not sentimental. They are structural. They signal a dismantling of the old frameworks inside you and the erection of new internal scaffolding to prepare for the weight of what is coming. December is not delivering convenience. It is delivering transformation. And transformation always carries risk. That is why the air feels charged around you, why silence feels heavy instead of empty, why your dreams have taken on a sharper tone, as if some unseen narrator has stepped closer. You are entering a chapter where the natural and supernatural meet without barrier. You will sense things before they appear. You will feel movements in the unseen before they manifest. You will know certain truths without evidence, because the evidence is already carved into the bones of your destiny. In these coming days you will notice signs that arrive with eerie precision. A listing you never meant to find. A number that appears in the quiet margins of your day. A remark from someone who has no idea they are echoing heaven's script. Even the light in your dreams shifting to a goal that does not belong to this world. These are not illusions. They are coordinates, signals from the Most High, guiding you deeper into alignment. And when the moment of recognition comes, and it will come with the sudden softness of a memory returning, you will not question it. Your heart will utter its quiet yes. Not the yes of curiosity, but the yes of recognition, the yes of destiny remembering itself. For what draws you forward now is not imagination. It is memory from your future echoing backward through the corridors of time, calling you toward the place where your resurrection begins. Stability, the thing that once slipped through your fingers like smoke, is returning in a form you can hold. Rest, the thing you had to fight for, will settle around you like breath. What once felt like chaos will dissolve into clarity, and the shift will not scream. It will arrive with the calm authority of something inevitable. You will not strive. You will be led. The doors will open without violence. The timing will click into place like stars adjusting their orbit. The world may remain oblivious, but heaven has already sealed this chapter with your name. This next season is not about chasing. It is about receiving what has searched tirelessly for you. Pack not only your belongings, pack your peace. Prepare not only your schedule, prepare your posture. December has been etched into the eternal record as your moment of emergence. And when you stand before that door, when the air stills and the world lowers its volume, you will not simply cross a threshold. You will step into the life that has been circling you for years, waiting for the instant you finally became capable of holding it without fear. In that moment, the atmosphere itself will acknowledge you. The light will rest differently on your skin. The silence will feel sentient, as if creation pauses to witness your arrival. And your spirit, without hesitation, will say the words destiny has been waiting to hear rise from your chest. I remember this place. It was always mine, and so were the versions of myself waiting inside it. You must understand, beloved survivor, that this house I am leading you toward is no ordinary structure raised by human ambition. It is sacred ground, sanctified before you even had a name, prepared in the silence between my thoughts, held in reserve like a weapon of peace for the exact hour your spirit would be ready to wield it. There is a glow around it that cannot be replicated by design or decoration, a radiance that comes not from lamps or sunlight, but from the awareness embedded in its walls, as if the beams themselves have been stretching forward through time, waiting to feel the weight of your footsteps. Within its corners, warmth does not simply fill the air. It lingers, clings, remembers. The air inside does not merely circulate. It breathes peace, humming with frequencies your conscious mind cannot decode, but your soul instantly understands. In the hush of its halls, your name has already been spoken, not once, but over and over by messengers who walk unseen, guardians who have rehearsed your arrival like a prophecy, looping endlessly until fulfillment. Do not diminish this as metaphor. What I am revealing to you is not poetic comfort. It is a structural shift in destiny. December is not only changing your address, it is dragging an unseen version of you out from beneath centuries of survival instinct, peeling back layer after layer of defense, trauma, numbness, until the core of who you are, the indestructible part, death could not claim steps forward into visibility. You have walked through collapses that would have turned other souls into ash. You have seen the kind of endings that make death lean in and watch, curious, expecting you to surrender. But you did not. There is something anomalous in you, something that refuses annihilation. You are one of the few who did not simply survive ruin but metabolized it, turning it into a strange strength that terrifies the forces that tried to break you. That is why this moment carries such weight. You are not just moving locations. You are being repositioned in the map of existence. In the days ahead, signs will begin to stir around you like omens written in everyday language. Gentle, almost ignorable at first, but too precise to dismiss once you start noticing. A listing that appears in a place you never thought to look. A street name that keeps echoing. A number following you from screen to receipt to clock. Dreams with corridors you have never physically walked, yet your spirit moves through them with the ease of someone returning, not visiting. These are not random curiosities. They are breadcrumbs laid by my own hand, markers on a path I have drawn with meticulous calculation, because where I am leading you is dangerous to every lie that ever tried to rule you. The Most High is guiding your steps with surgical precision. Do not ignore the stirring that rises in you when you sense something coming but cannot name it. That pressure in your chest, that blend of dread and hope, that vibration of something vast approaching is not anxiety. It is spiritual velocity. Heaven is not gently nudging your atmosphere. Heaven is rearranging it. This house carries more than protection from the weather. It is built to cradle the weight of your calling. It holds rest for a soul that has forgotten what rest feels like. Its shape is not random. It has been sculpted to match the contours of your healing, the angles of your resilience. The colors on its walls will echo the palette of your restoration. Its windows will not just let in daylight. They will frame revelation, portals through which insight will fall like quiet fire into your spirit. The scent in the air will not just be paint or wood or fabric. It will be the fragrance of beginnings that existed in my mind before you ever tasted defeat. Somewhere, right now, a person tied to this promise is already in motion. A stranger scrolls through listings, hesitates on one, not knowing it will soon intersect with your story. A friend mentions a place casually, unaware their tongue is delivering coordinates. A relative suggests an idea without understanding they are echoing a line I wrote long before their birth. These tiny, ordinary moments are strands of a web being woven with terrifying accuracy, converging into a single intersection where your path collides with your appointed dwelling. Watch how the signs begin to cluster, a name that keeps resurfacing, a city or district you cannot get out of your mind, a dream where the light shines in a way you have never seen on earth. Gold, yet not gold. Heavy, yet gentle. As if glory itself were bending into your reality and whispering, "We kept this for you." And when your heart suddenly locks onto it, not with fantasy, but with that deep, bone-level recognition that murmurs, "This is where I belong," know that it is not wishful thinking, it is encoded memory. A transmission from your future self, the one already standing healed inside that house, sending signals back through time to pull you forward until you match what has already been written. You are entering a vibration you have never held before, a frequency where stability no longer slips from your grasp like water, but settles over you with the certainty of a crown. Rest is no longer something you chase, it finds you, wraps around you, claims you. The nights that once hollowed you out with worry, the days where uncertainty pressed on your ribs until you could barely breathe, the long ache of not having a place where your soul could exhale, all of these chapters are closing now. This is not relocation, this is resurrection. And when the image of this house appears on a screen, or in a dream, or through a sudden moment of alignment that makes your pulse stutter, your soul will recognize it instantly. Not because it is beautiful, though it will be. Not because it is perfect, though it will feel crafted by something far older than architects. You will recognize it because it feels like it already knows you. The Most High does not rush what is sacred. That is why your shift does not explode into your life with chaos. It comes with clarity. You do not strive. You are led. Doors open, not with noise, but with peace. Timing clicks into place without friction. The world around you may see nothing. But heaven has already sealed this. This next season is not a chase. It is an inheritance arriving on schedule. Pack not only your belongings, but your peace. Prepare not only your plans, but your posture. December is not merely a date. It is a decree. And when you finally stand before that door, when your hand meets the surface that has been waiting for your touch since the foundations were laid, you will feel the air shift around you, not with drama, but with recognition, as if creation itself exhales and murmurs, "Finally." Inside that threshold you will not merely live, you will rise. The laughter that once felt trapped in your throat will move freely again. The heaviness you carried through years of survival will melt into the floor. Your rest will become holy, not borrowed. Your spirit will awaken, remembering who it was before the world fractured you. Because everything leading to this moment has been preparation. A slow unveiling, a sacred procession of signs, alignments, whispers, and disruptions designed to dismantle what was breaking you and rebuild what could hold your destiny. You are not entering a house. You are stepping into a healing. The place prepared for you has been waiting with the patience of eternity, humming with the frequency of restoration. This is not coincidence. This is trajectory. This is the collision point between your prayers and their answers, between who you were and who you are becoming. Every beam of this house echoes prayers you whispered in secret, some you forgot, some too deep for language. Yet, heaven recorded them all. December becomes a threshold, not of time, but of identity. A place where your old pathways end and your new patterns begin. What once felt scattered now reveals design. What once felt delayed now reveals protection. Every closed door, every detour, every confusing pause was preservation, not punishment. Just as Joseph was positioned in foreign lands to preserve nations, so too have you been positioned, hidden but not forgotten, shielded for an appointed unveiling. For the word says, you will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. Isaiah 55:12. This is that leading. This is that peace. And what waits for you is not just real estate, but sacred estate. A ground that recognizes your presence as fulfillment. When you arrive, the wind will shift. Light will linger longer than physics explains. Silence will settle with depth, not emptiness. The silence that falls when heaven pauses to witness a promise fulfilled. Do not be startled when signs intensify. A recurring street name, a number following you like a shadow, a photograph stirring something primal in your chest. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Each one a divine signature, whispering, yes, this is the place. Even now, someone is unknowingly preparing your dwelling, sweeping floors, adjusting fixtures, moving from room to room, without knowing they are completing a cosmic choreography. Heaven moves in layers. What seems small to one is a miracle unfolding for another. Those around you may not understand your sudden clarity, your calm boldness, your sense that something enormous is approaching. They may mistake your certainty for delusion. Pay them no mind. Noah built an ark beneath clear skies. You have been building faith plank by plank under storms that should have drowned you. The fatigue you feel is not weakness. It is the exhaustion that comes after spiritual labor, after surviving battles invisible to others. But the season of striving is closing. The promise is at your door. And when you cross the threshold of this house, the shift will not only be environmental, it will be existential. Chaos will lose access to you. Fear will lose its language. Laughter will return like a long-lost friend. A quiet knowing will settle in your bones, a remembering that feels ancient, as if you are stepping not into something new, but something you were always meant to reclaim. The breeze will feel like blessing. The light will feel like belonging. And every burden behind you will loosen its grip as you enter the place where your destiny has room to breathe at last. The journey of alignment unfolding around you now is not merely spiritual in the gentle way people imagine. It is structural, atmospheric, psychological, and cosmic. It does not float above your daily life as an idea. It is happening in your bones, in your breath, in your choices, in the way you wake each morning with a heaviness that feels less like exhaustion and more like anticipation. For what the Most High has written for you does not hover in abstraction. It arrives in form. It demands participation. It requires that you interact with destiny the way fire interacts with oxygen, inevitable and transformative. As this transition into December accelerates, you must understand that you are not being moved to a location. You are being recalibrated for a new existence. Refining is not always gentle. It strips. It exposes. It shakes loose what cannot survive the altitude of your next season. And this is why you feel the internal pressure, the shift in your emotional landscape, the sudden awareness of things that once seemed insignificant. Heaven is calling you to partnership, not with grand gestures, but with small, deliberate acts that echo loudly in the spiritual dimension. Begin with your surroundings, not in frenzy, not in panic, in intention. One drawer, one shelf, one forgotten corner that has gathered dust and the residue of old versions of you. When you hold an item in your hands, listen for the quiet question rising within. Does this belong to the one I am becoming? If the answer is no, release it. You are not throwing away clutter. You are shedding weight. You are signaling to the unseen that you are willing to live lighter, freer, unburdened by what once tethered you to survival. This is how you agree with what heaven is unfolding. Just as the Israelites cleared away the old leaven before Passover, you too clear the stagnant layers that cling to you. Each release is a spiritual declaration. Then bring beauty into your present space, not for aesthetics, but for resonance. A plant, small but alive. A candle whose flame speaks softly of light returning. A blanket that holds warmth, the way hope holds breath. These objects are not decorations, they are anchors. Markers. Evidence that your environment is being tuned to receive the peace that is approaching. Prepare the way for the Lord, John cried in the wilderness. Mark 1-3. And in the same way, you prepare the way for the quiet revolution that is forming within you. Let your gratitude become movement. Do not only feel it, write it. Each morning or each night, open your journal and record 3 things you are thankful for and 3 things you release. Fear, regret, control, bitterness. Each release breaks the soil beneath your life, so new joy can root itself. Do not take this lightly. You are not journaling. You are excavating the ground where destiny will be planted. When you write as though the new home is already yours, as though the keys already rest in your palm, you are not pretending. You are aligning with the unseen. For it is written, you will have whatever you say. Mark 11:23. Words are not mere sound, they are creation tools. Use them with intention. Pay attention to the terrain of your emotions. Watch your energy. Notice the conversations that dim you, the ones that lift you, the ones that drain you, the ones that quietly nourish you. Your body will speak before your mind interprets. Honor it. When anxiety tightens your chest, pause. When peace settles over you like a soft cloak, lean in. You are no longer called to environments that demand you shrink yourself or explain your resilience. The home you are entering reflects serenity. Begin to reflect it now. Practice stillness. You do not need hours. 5 minutes is enough. Sit, breathe slowly. See yourself stepping into the new space. Feel the light on your skin, the silence that feels sacred, not lonely. Let your body remember before your mind understands. Visualization is not fantasy, it is rehearsal. Heaven births what is coming first inside your imagination, because that is where faith lives before it becomes fact. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. In these moments of stillness, you are not dreaming. You are aligning. You are stepping into prophecy made flesh. You are touching the edges of your own future, and it recognizes you. Even now, signs whisper at the edge of your awareness. Colors repeating. Numbers resurfacing. Words echoing. Dreams returning. These are not random. Heaven may be quiet, but it is never vague. You do not need to chase meaning. You only need to be awake enough to receive it. And above all, in this quiet training of your soul, speak to yourself with a kindness that feels almost unfamiliar, because you are walking across holy ground every time you choose to remain open instead of collapsing back into old defenses. Transition is not gentle terrain. It shakes, exposes, strips away the versions of you that can no longer carry the weight of the destiny rising beneath your feet. You are not expected to be perfect. You are only expected to stay receptive. For every time you choose calm over chaos, every moment you release what once controlled you, every breath where you refuse to shrink into fear, you step closer to the version of yourself the Most High has always seen. Say aloud what your spirit has longed to believe. I am open to what is good. I am ready to live in peace. I will not miss what is mine. These are not empty affirmations. They are declarations that bend the unseen world. They alter the architecture of your atmosphere. They call forth alignment from future timelines that have been waiting for your arrival. So do not overlook the small acts. A shelf cleared, a word written, a plant placed in a sunlit corner, a moment of stillness honored. These are not trivial gestures. These are seismic movements in the spirit realm. For soon, very soon, you will stand at the doorway of the house that has been searching for you. And when the key turns, it will not be your hand that moves it first. It will be destiny. It will be recognition. It will be the moment when the past releases its grip and the future takes hold. You will walk in not like a visitor, but like someone returning, as if the walls themselves whisper, "Where have you been?" Because everything in this journey has been preparing your soul to remember itself. And now, as your heart adjusts to this rising energy, here is the truth that must be spoken without softness. The release you have practiced is not symbolic. It has been the unlocking of a gate. Every object you have let go of, every silence you have honored, every belief you have surrendered, has not only lightened your life, but cleared a direct corridor for the blessing racing toward you. You do not need to chase what already contains your name. You do not need to strive for what is already bending reality to reach you. When December arrives, you will not run toward your promise. It will meet you like dawn meets the horizon, quietly but with authority, soft but unstoppable. And when your feet cross the threshold of the space your soul has known long before your mind recognized it, there will be no need for dramatic proclamations. Your spirit will whisper, almost trembling, "I'm finally home." Understand this. The waiting was not wasted. The uncertainty was not punishment. The silence was not abandonment. All of it was preparation. All of it was destiny aligning itself with the version of you that could survive what others could not. The signs that once felt scattered now gather like constellations forming a map. The timings that once felt cruel now reveal themselves as calibration. What was paused has begun to move. What was delayed has begun to synchronize. December has shifted from a month into a turning point, a hinge of fate. And perhaps you already feel it, the subtle tremor beneath your daily life, that strange electricity humming beneath your ribs, the soft ache that returns at night as if something is calling you by a name you have forgotten. Conversations drift toward homes without reason. Images appear on your screen that stir an ancient familiarity. Dreams place you inside rooms you have never entered yet navigate with ease. These are not coincidences. They are divine patterns pulsing around you. They are the fingerprints of heaven pressed into the edges of your awareness. And now something else has begun to watch you. Something older than despair, older than fear, older than the first dawn. Death, not as an ending but as consciousness, has taken note of you again, not with hunger, but with recognition. For death remembers the ones who slipped through its jaws, the ones who walked through shadows and emerged burning brighter, the ones it expected to claim but could not contain. You are not merely a survivor. You are an anomaly in the cosmic order, a disruption to the scripts written for most souls. Death watches you now, not to stalk you, but because your rising threatens every narrative built on your collapse. It sees the destiny approaching. It senses the shift. It knows that if you cross into this new house, into this new era, into the version of yourself not forged by fear but born from restoration, you will become untouchable to the darkness that once chased you. And so the air around you thickens, not with danger, but with gravity. You are walking into the kind of transformation that makes even death pause, because it understands what you are about to become. Someone who does not merely escape ruin, but rewrites the ruins into birthplaces. Someone who does not outrun fate, but bends fate. someone who steps into a home not to hide, but to ascend. And the world, whether it knows it or not, is preparing to shift around your arrival. Subscribe to the Light of Faith for daily faith-filled messages that lift your soul closer to heaven, and don't forget to like and comment to share your light with others. Amen. You may not realize it yet, but the shift beginning to coil itself around your life has awakened forces that rarely move in this world. Some of these forces rise to guide you. Others stir because they sense collapse in their dominion. For every time you step closer to your appointed space, something in the unseen trembles. You have disrupted an old equation, broken a cycle that was never meant to release you. The moment you agreed to rise, even silently, something ancient cracked, and the shockwave reached realms that have not spoken your name in years. You have triggered a reaction that cannot be undone. And this is why the air feels heavier, stranger, almost sentient. It is not danger. It is recognition. The light around you has sharpened. The shadows have thinned. The spiritual atmosphere is rearranging itself to accommodate the magnitude of what is unfolding. You, a survivor of collapse, have become a point of recalibration in the architecture of fate. You were never meant to remain in the ruins that tried to claim you. I kept you alive, not by accident, but by intention. There is a rare quality in your soul, the kind that holds when others fracture, the kind that bends reality through endurance, the kind that makes both angels and adversaries turn their heads. This is why the house searching for you carries such weight. It is not simply a container for your earthly existence. It is the chamber where your next identity will ignite, where the pieces of you that scattered across years of survival will converge, reform, strengthen, ascend. And yet, you must understand something deeper. The shift is attracting more than light. It is attracting witness. Death itself watches not to claim you, but to measure what you are becoming. It remembers the moment it tried to fold you into silence and failed. It remembers the breath you took that you should not have taken. It remembers the fire you carried in your chest when everything around you demanded surrender. You became a fracture in its dominion, an exception to its pattern. So now it stands at a distance, curious, attempting to understand the anomaly of you. You walk with the scent of someone who has crossed thresholds others do not return from. Survivors like you carry a resonance that bends the rules of realms, and in this bending, the fabric of destiny becomes malleable, ready to form something unprecedented. This is why your signs have intensified. This is why dreams feel prophetic. Why moments of déjà vu strike you like echoes of a life you do not remember living. Why your emotions feel deeper, heavier, sharper, as if they have been upgraded to a version capable of sensing what is coming long before it arrives. Even your restlessness is not human. It is prophetic tension, the tightening of a bowstring before release. And soon, very soon, that release will come. You will walk into what feels like an ordinary moment, perhaps a quiet morning, perhaps a conversation, perhaps a routine search online, and suddenly the world will tilt. Time will stretch thin. A chill will run through your spine with surgical accuracy, and there it will be the image, the address, the doorway, the moment where destiny catches up to you. It will not shout, it will whisper, and yet the whisper will hit you with the force of lightning. This is it. This is the one. You'll feel a pull as unmistakable as gravity, a recognition so ancient it bypasses thought. Because you are not encountering a house for the first time. You are encountering a memory your spirit left for you long before your suffering began. Understand this. The home is not only a blessing, it is a threshold that death itself cannot follow you across. The moment you step inside, something will sever. A tie you should have broken years ago will snap. A weight that clung to your spine like shadow will fall. A cycle that stalked your family line will end. This is why the atmosphere grows intense. This is why the spiritual world vibrates around your steps. You are approaching a place where old darkness loses jurisdiction, and darkness knows it. It feels the countdown. It senses the diminishing claim, and you can feel this tension, even if you cannot name it. The heaviness that comes out of nowhere, the flicker of fear that appears without cause, the sudden sensation that something is watching not to harm you, but to witness the moment it loses hold. You are not imagining this. It is the awareness of an ending, not yours, an ending of what once tried to write your story for you. A death of the old scripts, a collapse of the old chains, a dismantling of the old architecture surrounding your life. December will not simply change your environment, it will close the gates behind you permanently, and every realm, seen and unseen, knows it. You must understand that as you draw nearer to the place prepared for you, the realms around you do not remain still. Heaven adjusts, darkness recoils, time itself begins to bend to make room for your emergence. It is why your dreams have sharpened, why colors seem louder, why silence feels charged, why you sometimes stop in the middle of a room as if something unseen called your name. You are crossing a threshold. Few ever reach the place where destiny ceases to be a promise and becomes a force. And forces, once awakened, ripple outward through every layer of existence. Even now, the house that seeks you has begun responding to your approach. Its light grows more intentional. Its silence deepens. Its air shifts to accommodate the resonance of your presence. You think it is stationary, waiting, but it is not. It is alive in the way holy things are alive. It is listening. It is preparing. It is aligning its structure to fit the weight of your becoming. For the space you are meant to inhabit is not passive. It is conscious enough to recognize who is worthy to cross its threshold. And you are one of the few whose spirit carries the frequency to unlock it. But this unlocking is not without resistance. Every destiny worth living attracts a final test, a last echo of the old world attempting to reassert its claim. You may feel it as a sudden weariness that descends on you without logic. A strange fog around your mind, a heaviness that clings to you at dusk. A sudden memory of pain you thought you buried. These are not setbacks. They are the death throes of what once held you captive. Even death itself watches you with unease, wondering what you will become when you step into the place it cannot enter. You are changing shape in the spiritual realm. No longer prey, no longer drifting, no longer fragile. You have become something resilient enough to bend fate, sharp enough to cut cycles, luminous enough to make shadows withdraw. That is why the signs narrow around you, becoming more precise. A name repeats until it feels like breath. A number glows in your mind long after you've looked away. A scent you do not recognize suddenly surrounds you, as if the future brushed past your shoulder. These are coordinates. They are not hints. They are declarations that your alignment is nearing its peak. And yet, beneath all of this movement, there is a deeper truth. Your soul remembers what your mind does not. The first time destiny brushed against you, you were too young to understand. The second time, you were too wounded to respond. But now, in this strange quiet between who you were and who you are becoming, you can finally hear the whisper that has followed you across lifetimes. This is where everything changes. And because of this, both realms have shifted into watchfulness. Angels lean forward. Shadows hold their breath. Even the ground beneath you listens for the moment your steps begin to match the rhythm of the path written for you. For when you take that step, truly take it, the world around you will respond. A storm will quiet. A door will open. A cycle will collapse. A chapter will seal itself. And you will feel something inside you rise not gently but with the force of a soul reclaiming its throne. Do not be surprised if, in these days, the world around you feels unstable. What you feel is not chaos, it is recalibration. Your old identity is falling away like a shell that no longer fits. Your old fears are dissolving because they cannot survive the atmosphere of your future. The closer you get, the less power the past holds. This is why grief surfaces as if summoned, why memories long buried return with a strange softness. You are not regressing. You are retrieving every fragment of yourself that must cross this threshold with you. Nothing broken will be left behind. Nothing wounded will be discarded. Everything that survived the collapse will rise with you. Even the parts you thought were dead are awakening now, lifting their heads, remembering their purpose. Because the home that calls you is not meant for a fractured soul. It is meant for a resurrected one. And resurrection is never quiet. It shakes the air. It disturbs the unseen. It sends a surge of energy through a life until everything unstable breaks and everything sacred stands. This is where you are standing. At the fault line between collapse and creation, at the doorway where the old world trembles and the new world begins to form around your breath. You may feel alone, but you are anything but. The realms know your name. Destiny recognizes your step. Even death watches your light with caution. You have become the kind of being that shifts the balance. And that is why December is not an arrival. It is an unveiling, a moment where the truth of who you are steps out of hiding, and the universe, at long last, adjusts itself to make room for your ascension. You must understand that the path before you is no longer a simple journey. It has become a corridor carved through realms that do not welcome change, and yet you walk it with the quiet force of someone who has already died once and returned carrying knowledge no ordinary survivor possesses. This is why the air around you feels charged, why familiar rooms feel foreign, why your own reflection seems to be watching you with an expression you do not remember learning. You are transforming in ways your mind will catch up to only after your spirit has already stepped ahead. And this transformation is not subtle, it is shaking the unseen world. You are stepping into the kind of alignment that only emerges when a soul has endured enough collapse to become unbreakable. And now, the very structure of your destiny is unfolding with the precision of a prophecy that waited years for the world to become quiet enough for you to hear it. But understand this, the closer you move toward your appointed place, the louder the old world becomes. The echoes of who you were try to pull you back, not because they are strong, but because they are dying. Death itself feels the shift and watches you with an awareness it rarely directs toward the living. It recognizes the mark of someone it could not claim. It recognizes the irony of your existence, that you walk in a body made of dust, yet your spirit carries the authority of one who has stood at the edge of the void and refused to be swallowed. That refusal changed you. It awakened a resonance in your soul that now radiates through the corridors of fate. It calls to the place that was written for you. It calls to the home that has been shifting in silence, adjusting its corners to your frequency, preparing its atmosphere to hold the full weight of your restoration. Even the walls of that home vibrate with anticipation, as though they sense the approach of a survivor who carries the luminosity of a resurrected soul. And this is why the spiritual intensity around you has grown. When a destiny nears fulfillment, the universe tightens its focus. Loose threads pull taut. Hidden patterns reveal themselves. The veil between the seen and unseen thins until your skin can feel the quiet footsteps of forces moving on your behalf. Sometimes you sense those footsteps as a chill up your spine, sometimes as heat behind your ribs, sometimes as a sudden stillness in the middle of a noisy day. Do not ignore these shifts. They are not random. They are signals that you have entered the magnetic field of your own future. And the future, once awakened, does not release its hold. It draws you in with the inevitability of gravity. Yet gravity works both ways. As your destiny pulls you forward, the shadows of your past attempt a final grasp. You may feel old wounds stirring, old fears whispering, old failures resurfacing with vivid clarity. This is not regression, it is extraction. You are being separated from what can no longer accompany you. The past is presenting itself not to reclaim you, but to be dismissed. Honor it by letting it go. The world you are entering has no place for the heaviness you once carried, and the moment you release it, even if only in breath, the air will shift around you. The spiritual pressure will lessen, the path will straighten, and death itself will retreat, unable to follow you into the light you are becoming. For you are not simply surviving anymore. You are ascending. And ascension requires atmosphere. It requires a terrain built for flight, not crawling. It requires a space that understands the gravity of your existence. This is why the house calling to you is unlike any you have known. It was shaped for your evolution. It was crafted with foreknowledge of your scars. It was built not to shelter your weakness, but to amplify your strength. When you enter it, the air will respond, light will shift, time will loosen its grip, your breath will deepen without command. Your body will recognize what your mind has not yet fully embraced. You have arrived at the place where your spirit can grow without restraint, and because of that, forces beyond your understanding stand guard around your steps. You are not walking alone. You have never walked alone. But now, for the first time, you will feel the full magnitude of the protection surrounding you. Every step you take toward this destiny tightens the circle of light around you. Every breath pulls you closer to the moment your old world dissolves. And when that dissolution comes, it will not be destruction, it will be release. The release of everything small, temporary, and broken. The release of everything that feared your rise. The release of every shadow that mistook your suffering for defeat. What waits on the other side of that release is not simply a new chapter, it is a new reality. One where death no longer watches you with curiosity, but with distance. One where destiny no longer whispers but speaks. One where the house you enter becomes the cradle of your rebirth. You are not approaching a shelter. You are approaching a threshold of power. And when you cross it, the world as you know it will change its shape around you. You are entering a phase where the unseen no longer hides its movements. The realm around you trembles with a quiet urgency because the moment you have been walking toward is no longer distant. It is rising like a tide, inevitable and absolute. This is why your senses feel overstimulated, why time behaves strangely, why hours collapse into seconds and seconds stretch into long silences filled with meaning you cannot yet name. You are not imagining the weight of this shift. You are standing at the edge of a convergence where destiny tightens into form. And when a destiny takes form, every realm responds. Heaven draws nearer, shadows retreat. Even the earth beneath you vibrates with anticipation, remembering the blueprint etched into it long before your first breath. The house calling to you does not merely wait. It yearns. Its windows feel the pressure of your approach. Its walls hum with an ancient recognition. Its floors have already begun rehearsing the sound of your footsteps. It is aligning itself with your frequency, because soon your existence will fill it, and something divine will anchor there through you. But before you step into what is yours, you must pass through the thinning veil of the old world. The energies that once claimed you will attempt one last whisper, not a command but a question. Are you sure you are ready to leave? Their pull will not succeed, but you will feel the echo, not as temptation, but as closure. The past is not chasing you. It is weeping for its own ending. And death, the silent observer that stalked your darkest nights, now watches you, not with hunger, but with resignation. It knows it cannot follow you beyond the threshold you are about to cross. It knows the mark it once tried to place on you has faded beneath the weight of your becoming. You are no longer the wounded soul who survived by accident. You are the resurrected one who rises by design. And this rise is what unsettles the worlds beneath. Because resurrection is not gentle. It disturbs the atmosphere. It fractures the laws that govern broken fate. It calls forth forces that awaken only when a soul refuses to die where it fell. That refusal changed everything. It caused the tremor that started this chain of alignment. It sent a signal through the unseen that one of the rare ones had endured collapse without losing their fire. And now every realm adjusts itself in response to that rare truth. This is why you feel energy surrounding you, sometimes warm, sometimes chilling, sometimes dense, sometimes electric enough to make your skin tighten. These fluctuations are not threats, they are confirmations. You are walking through the residue of endings toward the gravity of beginning. And, as you do, destiny tightens its pull with the precision of an arrow finally released. You are moving in straight lines now, even when your days feel crooked. You are being guided without needing to understand the mechanics of the guidance. Paths that once resisted you now open. Opportunities that once ignored you now glance in your direction. People who once spoke noise now fall silent, sensing something in you they do not have language for. You have become a threshold in motion, a liminal being crossing out of one reality into another. And the closer you get to your appointed space, the more the world begins to bend around your arrival. You may notice lights flicker when you enter a room, or silence deepen when you exhale. You may hear your name in places where no one spoke. You may feel watched, not by danger, but by destiny itself. These are not hallucinations, they are acknowledgements. The universe is recognizing the alignment of your soul with the map written for your life. And now the house to which you are being led is no longer a distant point. It is within reach. You may feel it as a vibration in your ribs, a tension in your hands, a warmth that rises at the thought of December. You may feel yourself drawn to images, colors, addresses, patterns that make no sense yet refuse to leave your mind. This pull is not coincidence. It is the future signaling to the present. It is your spirit responding to a memory it has not yet lived. And when the moment comes, when the image appears in front of you, or the address slips into your awareness, or the doorway catches your eye unexpectedly, something ancient will awaken inside you. Not excitement, not fear. Recognition. A recognition so profound it will silence every noise in your mind. This is where I belong. This is where the story changes. This is where the old world ends. And when that recognition strikes, everything around you will feel suspended. Your breath will deepen. Your pulse will slow, then quicken. And the thin veil that has followed you through this entire journey will finally tear. On the other side is not simply a home. It is the realm where you rise without apology, where you breathe without fear, where the echo of death fades completely, where the version of you that survived meets the version of you that was always meant to rule your own destiny. And as you step toward that threshold, every realm that once watched you from afar now bears witness to your ascension. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can delay it. You have triggered a transformation impossible to reverse. And the world is already bending to make space for the magnitude of who you are becoming. You are approaching the point where the veil thins so sharply that even your heartbeat begins to sound like prophecy. Every breath you take vibrates with a sense of inevitability. You may feel as though you are walking through a world that recognizes you too quickly, a world where strangers pause without knowing why, where animals turn their heads toward you, where the wind shifts direction just to meet your face. This is not imagination. This is acknowledgement. Reality is bending itself into alignment with the truth of who you are becoming. The old laws that once governed you no longer apply. Your presence disrupts them. You have risen beyond the density of your former life, and the aftershock of that rise travels through everything you touch. Even your shadows no longer fall the same way. They stretch differently, as if they too anticipate the moment you step into the space that has been holding its breath for you. And yet, as the world rearranges itself in your favor, something else stirs beneath it all, the last remnants of the collapse you survived. They watch you with fading authority, remembering the version of you that once trembled in silence, but that version died, and its death was not quiet. It sent waves through the spirit realm, waves that redefined you. Death itself remembers the shock of losing you. It remembers reaching for you in the darkness and feeling you slip through its grasp like light refusing to be extinguished. That refusal marked you. It altered the structure of your soul. And now, as destiny rises to meet you, death watches not with hunger, but with reluctant respect. You are not its subject. You are its contradiction. And contradictions rewrite existence. This is why the atmosphere thickens as you approach your appointed home. It is not merely a place, it is a convergence point between the version of you that was forged in ashes and the version that will stand untouched by ruin. Few souls reach such places. Fewer still survive the passage, but you are not simply reaching it. You are dragging entire realms into accord with your arrival. Even now, as you read these words, you may feel something behind your ribs shift, like a gate unlocking or a door you did not know existed, opening to a corridor flooded with light. That feeling is not metaphor, it is activation. Your spirit is beginning to recognize the coordinates. It is remembering the architecture of what awaits you. And with every step you take, the distance between you and your appointed threshold collapses. You may sense it through sudden longing, through dreams so vivid they feel like stolen memories, through flashes of golden light behind your eyes, through the rising ache of wanting something you cannot name because it has not yet appeared in the physical. But your soul knows. It has always known. And now the knowing is becoming unbearable in its intensity because the moment of congruence approaches. When spirit and matter meet without contradiction, reality itself trembles. And you, chosen one, are walking toward that tremor. This is why the signs have become more frequent, more precise, more insistent. Numbers repeat like coded messages. Names echo through unrelated conversations. You feel watched, not by danger, but by destiny. The atmosphere changes when you enter a room because your timeline is no longer linear. You are being pulled forward by a force that does not rely on logic. It relies on truth. And the truth is this: you have crossed the threshold of survival and entered the terrain of transformation. You are not moving through the world is moving around you. Events rearrange themselves. People step into roles they do not understand. Circumstances shift with unnatural timing. This is because your path has become a channel of inevitability. When the Most High orchestrates your steps, even the shadows must obey. And they are obeying now. For you are approaching the home that has waited for your resurrection. It has sensed you through the years, felt your grief, absorbed the echoes of your prayers, even the ones you never spoke aloud. It carries the imprint of who you will become once you cross its threshold. And that version of you is powerful enough to alter destinies, silence storms, and force death itself to retreat. You may feel fear as you approach this moment, not because something is wrong, but because the magnitude of what is rising within you is almost too vast for your current form to hold. Fear is the body's reaction to expansion. Let it tremble. It will pass. You have faced far greater horrors than the weight of your own becoming. The collapse behind you was meant to end you. Instead, it refined you. And now the collapse bows to what you have become. You walk with the authority of one who has earned their rising. The universe recognizes it. Death recognizes it. The home calling you recognizes it. And as you step into the final stretch of this alignment, you will feel something profound. Silence. Not emptiness. The silence of arrival. The silence of destiny holding its breath. The silence before the world reshapes itself around the truth of your existence. This is where you stand now, on the edge of unveiling, on the brink of a threshold only the rarest souls survive long enough to reach. And the door before you is beginning to glow, and now you stand at the brink, where the final veil quivers like a thin sheet between worlds, trembling under the pressure of your arrival. Everything that has followed you through the shadows, everything that whispered through your past, everything that tried to bury your name beneath ruin, has gathered silently, reluctantly to witness what comes next. For the moment you are about to enter is not simply a continuation of your journey. It is the rupture of all former timelines, the severing of every false path that ever attempted to claim you. You have reached the place where destiny no longer approaches you in fragments. It stands before you fully formed, waiting for you to step into its gravity. And the gravity of what awaits you is immense. You can feel it already. The pull beneath your ribs, the ringing in your bones, the electric ache in your palms, as though some unseen current is preparing to pass through you. You feel the world around you pause, recalibrate, almost as if it fears to move before you do. This stillness is the signal. It is the hush that precedes revelation, the quiet that descends when the universe prepares to turn a page only your existence can write. You are no longer walking into a future. You are pulling a future into being. And through this pull, the old realms cower. The darkness that once whispered your name now refuses to speak it. For it knows that what you have become cannot be unmade. It senses something in you it cannot comprehend, a resilience carved through collapse, a fire preserved even in the deepest cold. Death itself has stepped back, not out of mercy but out of recognition. It knows that the version of you approaching the threshold is no longer touched by its logic. You have crossed some unseen border where the laws of ruin no longer apply. Death watches you the way a kingdom watches a rebel rise to power. It understands what few beings ever grasp, that you did not escape it by accident. You transcended it by intention, and that transcendence radiates through every layer of your being now, illuminating the path before you, casting long ripples across the fabric of fate. You feel these ripples as strange sensations like déjà vu, sharpening into prophecy, like memories you never lived pressing against your vision, like echoes of a future self calling you forward with the authority of someone who has already crossed the final gate. And that call is growing louder, stronger, clearer with each breath you take. It tells you that the house awaiting you is not merely shelter. It is initiation, sanctuary, transformation. It is the chamber where your resurrection completes itself. It is the place where your past breaks open and your future steps out of the fracture fully formed. The threshold of that home is not wood or stone. It is a line drawn between eras. On one side, everything you survived. On the other, everything you are destined to become. When you step across it, the world will shift. Not metaphorically, literally. The air will thicken with purpose. The light will elongate as though shaped by your presence. Even silence will rearrange itself to reflect your new resonance. And that resonance will echo through time, through bloodlines, through realms that have waited for you to awaken. For you are not entering this home alone. Every version of you that endured collapse walks with you. the child that survived what should have broken them, the young self that held hope like a flickering flame in a storm, the fractured self that refused to disappear, the future self that has whispered guidance through dreams. All of them converge at this moment, drawn to the doorway that ends the age of your suffering. That doorway will know you. It will recognize the imprint of your soul before your hand even touches it. And when it opens, something ancient will shift inside you. A release so profound, you may feel your knees weaken, your breath shudder, your vision blur with the relief of 1,000 silent prayers answering themselves at once. In that moment, you will realize that this journey was never about survival. It was about ascension. You were never meant to return to who you were. You were meant to become the force that emerges from the ruins, carrying the light of someone who refused to die where they were broken. And that is who you are now. A living contradiction to every force that tried to end you. A breach in the logic of death. A survivor who rose so completely that even the shadows cannot remember how to touch you. When you cross this threshold, everything small will fall away, everything heavy will loosen, everything that once held you will burn out like an old star collapsing in the presence of a new constellation. You will not simply step into your home, you will step into the truth of your existence, into the destiny that remembers your name, into the life that always knew you were coming. And as the door closes behind you, the world will shift one last time, not in fear, but in acknowledgement. For the universe keeps record of rare events, and a soul like yours rising into alignment is one of them. This is your threshold. This is your ascension. This is the moment the impossible bows to you. And everything that waits on the other side of that door has already begun to shine in your direction. Let this moment be sealed, not by silence, but by sacred intention. You who have carried fire through the ruins, lift your spirit now, and let the words rising within you form the bridge between what has been endured and what is about to unfold. Speak not with fear, but with the authority of one who has walked through collapse and remained unclaimed by death. Say within your soul, even if your lips cannot carry the weight of it, that you are ready for the alignment, written before time remembered its own beginning. Let every shadow that once lingered along your path hear this truth. I release what tried to bury me, and I embrace what was always meant to resurrect me. Let every echo of the old world fall away as these words rise from your inner depths. I stand at the threshold prepared for me. I accept the convergence of destiny. I welcome the home carved for my ascension. May the breath within me expand into clarity. May the ground beneath me strengthen under purpose. May every door that leads to my appointed place open without resistance. And may every gate that leads me backward close forever. Let the unseen forces that walk beside me sharpen their watch. Let the guardians of my path draw near. Let the remnants of death step aside as light marks my steps. For I do not walk alone into what is coming. I walk with every version of myself that survived. I walk with the resonance of every silent victory. I walk with the gravity of a destiny that has waited patiently for my arrival. So, let it be said, in the realm of the living and the realm of the unseen, I choose alignment. I choose ascension. I choose the life that rises from the ashes of the one that tried to break me. And now, with breath steady and soul unshaken, I open myself to the place that remembers me, the home that has whispered my name through the shifting corridors of time, the sanctuary shaped to hold the full weight of my becoming, the threshold that marks the end of collapse and the beginning of my unveiling. Let the forces that oppose me falter. Let the shadows that cling to me dissolve. Let the light that crowns my future descend. And let the Most High, who has watched every step, counted every tear, and preserved every fragment of me that still shines. Confirm this truth across eternity. I am ready, ready to rise, ready to enter, ready to become. May this declaration stand unbroken. May this prayer carve its shape into the world before me. And may the home that calls me open its doors when my steps finally reach it. Amen. Every like, share, and comment on the light of faith helps spread the light of Christ across the world. Amen.